do it naturally. Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Warrant Officer Class 1, Joanne Davey. We warmly welcome the delegations attending this evening's ceremony, who are representing Striker South Pacific Veterans Association and CMAX Advisory Group, and the visiting foreign and Australian officers from the Defence and Strategic Studies course. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this National Memorial and Museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Lionel Theodore Claude Docking. Lionel Docking, known as Claude, was born on the 17th of April 1893, the seventh son of James and Marie Clara Docking of South Australia. His father was a farmer on the Yorke Peninsula, and Claude and some of his siblings were born in Nantawarra, near Port Wakefield. Claude was educated at a number of different schools on the Yorke Peninsula, including those at Butte, Penang, Copper Hill and Cunliffe. In 1905, James Docking moved to the Pinaroo district, taking much of his large family with him. Claude went too, completing his education in Pinaroo. He went on to work as a farmer in the district, possibly with his brother France's property at Rosy Pine. In early 1916, Claude Docking was in South Australia with his older brother France. The two were particularly close and decided to enlist in the Australian Imperial Force, doing so on the 1st of May 1916 from Gattina. It was reported that they were manly young fellows and entered upon their duty with quiet determination to uphold the honour of the country and district. Before going into camp, they returned to Pinaroo, where a farewell social was held in their honour at the Rosy Pine Hall. Several friends gave speeches, and all spoke of the popularity of the young men and the loss the district was sustaining by their departure. Claude and France returned to Adelaide and went into camp for training on the 30th of May 1916. After completing their initial training, the brothers left for active service overseas with reinforcements to the 10th Battalion on board the troopship Anchises on the 28th of August. The Docking brothers arrived in England in October 1916. Claude was sick on arrival, and instead of going on to Salisbury Plain for further training with his brother, he was sent to hospital. While France completed his training and was sent to France in early 1916, Claude spent 2 weeks in a convalescent depot before his training could begin. When he was sent to France shortly before Christmas 1916, he joined the 27th Battalion for a few weeks and was later attached for guard duties with the 3rd Brigade headquarters. He finally joined the 10th Battalion and his brother France on the battlefields on the 26th of February 1917. Around the time the brothers were reunited, the German army had begun to withdraw to a pre-prepared defensive position known to the Allies as the Hindenburg Line. The Australians were part of the force to follow the German withdrawal, and by early April were beginning to make attacks on the fortified outpost villages to the German line. On the 3rd of May, Australian forces made a major second attack on the Hindenburg Line at Bullecourt, following the First Battle of Bullecourt in mid-April. The day after the battalion began, the 10th Battalion was called forward, reaching the outpost village of Naroi on the 5th of May. The following day, the 10th Battalion went into the front line, a company at a time, to reinforce the 12th Battalion and ward off German counterattacks. Over the course of the day, the battalion took more than 20 casualties. Among those killed were Privates Claude and France Docking. Their mates later wrote home to the Docking family to say that they were fighting side by side when they met their deaths, and it was assumed that they had been hit by the same shell. The bodies of the two brothers were lost in later fighting, and today their names are commemorated side by side on the Australian National Memorial at Villiers-Brettoneux. Claude was 24 years old, his brother France 27. Their names are listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. The photograph of Private Claude Docking is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Lionel Theodore Claude Docking, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we the left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and we wish you all a very good evening.